What's up everyone, Art with Overtake, and today I'm bringing you one of our first official videos as a company featuring one of our shop cars, a 2019 V8 WRX. Now this thing is pretty much stock, but today we're going to start putting little parts on it, starting with the Overtake windshield banner. Now we figured because we're going to be installing this, we would do a step-by-step install for you guys so you can do the same thing, and especially because you can purchase the Overtake banner in the description of this video below to support our company and help us grow. So we've got a pile of everything we need right here, obviously the banner itself, and then a couple of extras that you probably have laying around the garage or basement. We need just a standard towel, some soapy water in a spray bottle, glass cleaner, razor blade, squeegee, and then something to measure out the center point of the car, tape measure, some tape, and a pen. This is one of those installs you could do solo, but it's always easier with a friend because it's a pretty lengthy piece. So what I'm gonna do is get Justin Grimm down here to help me out, and we'll get this done quick. First things first, we're gonna measure out the center point on the car. Again, this is easier with another person. Looks like we're at about 47.5 inches, so I gotta do the math. Same thing on the banner, we're at about 55 inches. Next up, Justin's gonna do what you probably need to do anyway and clean your windshield. Preferably, I'd use an automotive glass cleaner that doesn't have any sort of Rain-X or any other chemicals that are gonna be bad for the windshield. That way the sticker's gonna be able to adhere a lot better. Next up, we're gonna wanna spray the windshield down, not too excessively, and also the backside of the windshield banner itself. Then after that, we can line up those center marks. Again, it is easier with two people. It can be done with one if you just use a little bit of tape to hold the banner. And remember, you wanna make it past the edges here. If it's too low, you're gonna cut it and then you're gonna expose some of the windshield. So just make sure you're right on that edge. Right now is the best time to step back from the car, make sure everything looks visually centered, and from ours it does. Then we can take our squeegee, starting in the middle and squeegeeing the soapy water out, making sure to remove as many bubbles as possible. One tip I have is to get in the edges and crease them so you know exactly where to cut. Make a nice clean cut along the trim. It'll look a lot better when it's all done. Now that everything is stuck on and we have a nice defined edge, we can grab our X-Acto knife, make sure it's nice and sharp, and then at about a 45-degree angle, just run it along the trim. The more time you take here, the better it's gonna look, and you're not gonna have little gaps and parts where you can see the windshield. So just have patience with this one. One of the final steps is to peel the transfer paper off of the front and just see how you did. Hopefully, if you followed our step-by-step guide, then it's gonna look just as good as this one's gonna look. If you're seeing bubbles and creases and some of the vinyl not sticking at this point, don't worry. We have soapy water underneath, so we do need to still squeegee that out. You can do that by putting a little water on top, grabbing the squeegee, and just carefully pushing any of the stuff underneath out. Well, there you have it. We're all done and it looks awesome. Like I mentioned a couple times in the video, the more time you take with this, the better the end result. Don't rush through this one. Now that you're finished up, you're gonna wanna let this sort of cure and dry. So don't go through any car washes. Try to avoid using your wipers. Let it sit in the sun for at least a couple of hours. Overnight is even better. And if it's in a cold environment, it may not stick to the windshield as nicely. Or if you have any sort of additives on the windshield, make sure you clean it off nicely as well. That you saw we use soapy water underneath. That does make the install a little bit easier, but the dry time a little bit longer. You can just use regular water, but especially doing it solo, it's gonna be a bit tougher to do. If you follow our steps, you do it right, you're gonna have something that's gonna last a long time, and best of all, you're gonna be able to support a growing company like Overtake. Hopefully you guys have as good of an install as we did on this one. If you wanna pick up one of the banners and support us, we're gonna have a link in the description. And right now, we're gonna move on to installing our next product, the Overtake license plate relocation kit. It's gonna go right here. We're gonna talk all about it in the next video, which we'll pop a couple links up for. So please like this video if you haven't already, subscribe to our page, and check out the next one.